Hi there guys, I hope you have had a good day. Now, Mike Tyson has explained he would be happy to get into the ring with Anthony Joshua or maybe even Tyson Fury in a charitable event and raise some money. Now, obviously he has an exhibition coming up anyway, and this would only be an exhibition. I wouldn't imagine it would be like for the World Heavyweight Championship. That would just be crazy. So it would be an exhibition, but still, Mike Tyson will entertain an offer or a possibility to get in there with Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. Now, personally, I think the better chance is Tyson Fury. I don't see Anthony Joshua doing it because I just think that Anthony Joshua isn't really the kind of guy to do that. Mostly because I think that Anthony Joshua will do those kind of things when he retires. I think that he wants to focus on his career as being a professional boxer, and all of those kind of charitable events he will do when he retires. He wants to optimize his career as a professional boxer at the moment. So I don't think he's going to have time or make the time for something like that. He will do when he retires, but at the moment, I don't see him doing things like that. I mean, can you imagine Anthony Joshua doing WWE? He wouldn't. Tyson Fury did, but then Tyson Fury is a completely different character to Anthony Joshua. So given that Mike Tyson would entertain that kind of fight, it won't happen, I don't think, with Anthony Joshua, but it would do, I believe, with Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has already said he would be happy to get in there with Mike Tyson in an exhibition or maybe in a real fight. I mean, he'd just be happy to get in there, to be honest, I think. But as I said, Anthony Joshua won't entertain that, I don't believe, this side of retiring. I don't think he'll do it until he retires. Then he will start doing things like that, I would imagine. But ultimately, I think that what Anthony Joshua wants to do during his career is obviously win world titles, be in the biggest fights, and help his community. That is what he is working on currently behind the scenes and away from boxing. Other than that, it is just boxing, professional boxing. Pulev next, Usyk after that, then Tyson Fury. So that is the only clear fights that Anthony Joshua has, and I don't see there being any exhibitions or anything like that in between. Now, I'm not saying it would not be interesting. I think it would. It would be incredibly interesting to see Anthony Joshua and Mike Tyson in there. Obviously, you wouldn't want to see it in a full fight. You wouldn't want to see them going at it for a world title because that's just mental. It's never a good idea because Tyson is 54, Anthony Joshua is 30. So, and it's not even about that. It's not even about age. It's about the fact that Mike Tyson is a retired boxer fighting in exhibitions. Anthony Joshua is a pro boxer fighting in world title fights. Mike Tyson's had the glory, he's had his career, he's a legend, he's done it all. He does not need to be getting back in there in a world title fight. So that fight won't happen, I don't believe, for a world title, for an exhibition, especially while Anthony Joshua is an active boxer. That being said, it will be interesting to see some exhibitions from Mike Tyson, and we were all kind of worried when he said, I'm back. He wants another fight, he wants to get back into the ring and have a fight. But we were all kind of worried as to what that meant. Did it mean going in there with maybe a top 50 heavyweight? Going in there, I mean, against someone like, I don't know, even like Chris Arreola. Just, it's not good. Not for Mike Tyson, not at the current stage of his life. He's a retired boxer, and if he did want to fight, then it is important that it is someone like Roy Jones Jr. or someone like that, because that person is at the same stage of life, has had a long career also, same as Mike Tyson. So that kind of works. They're at the same level. He doesn't need to be going in there against a younger fighter who's in their prime. And that's not to be patronising, that's to be realistic. Mike Tyson is at a completely different point to Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. They're fighting in world title fights. He's fighting in exhibitions against fighters like Roy Jones Jr. I mean, Shannon Briggs is campaigning to get a fight with Mike Tyson, so why not that one next? The winner of Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fights Shannon Briggs. I mean, interesting, kind of. I mean, Shannon Briggs is a brilliant self-promoter, so maybe that could happen after this, in a charitable event, in an exhibition, because those are the kind of fights that Mike Tyson needs to be in if he wants to fight again. It's not for anyone to say that Mike Tyson cannot do this. He cannot get back into the ring, but he has to be careful. He has to make sure that it's the right environment against the right opponent. And he's done well in picking Roy Jones Jr. or potentially maybe Shannon Briggs. Even though Shannon Briggs is a little bit younger than Mike Tyson and had a fight in, 2016? I think he fought on the David Haye undercard when David Haye fought Arnold Gurjai, who called himself the Cobra. And I think Shannon Briggs fought on the undercard of that fight against some Argentine fighter, I think. And I don't think he even got paid for that fight. It was free because he was trying to set up a fight with David Haye, which never happened. Haye fought Bellew instead. So that was a fight that Shannon Briggs was chasing, and he hasn't fought since then. But then again, Mike Tyson hasn't fought since 2005, so that was a long time ago, 15 years ago. And it will be interesting to see Mike Tyson fight. I've never seen Mike Tyson fight live, so that will be great to see Mike Tyson in the ring against Roy Jones Jr., another legend, and maybe Shannon Briggs are down the line, because, I mean, Shannon Briggs is campaigning for the fight now. He wants to replace Roy Jones. He's eager to get in there with Mike Tyson. And I believe on the undercard of that fight, I think Jake Paul was fighting against an NBA player or something. So Jake Paul, a YouTuber, is fighting on the undercard as well. So that will be an event that weirdly gathers a lot of attention. And I mean, YouTubers fighting again against an NBA player. So it's a professional sportsman against Jake Paul. And they clearly have no idea what they're doing, because they had some sort of video call I think I saw where Jake Paul was saying stuff about the guy's, I think his name's Nate Robinson, about his footwork. And the guy says, "Don't worry about my feet, worry about my hands." This is boxing. Your feet come into it just as much as your hands because of positioning and stance and all of that, and how you throw your punches, how you take punches. So your feet are just as important as your hands in boxing. But there you go. It's a gimme fight on the undercard of Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones. Or Shannon Briggs. He's trying to get in there. But ultimately, Mike Tyson has explained he would be happy to fight Anthony Joshua in an exhibition fight for charity, or even Tyson Fury. As I said before, the Tyson Fury one is probably more likely, just because Anthony Joshua is focused on his career. And we've never seen him doing things like that before in the past, because he will do those kind of things when he retires. At the moment, he's a pro boxer. He still has a lot he wants to achieve in the sport of boxing. And that's understanding, right? I mean, Anthony Joshua still has a full career ahead of him. He still has big fights, especially on the horizon, where he wants to fight Tyson Fury, fight for Undisputed, and defend those titles against up-and-coming challengers. He has one on December 12th against Kubrat Pulev, then a bigger one against the former Undisputed Cruiserweight champion in Alexander Usyk. So some big fights on the horizon for Anthony Joshua. So at the moment, these kind of exhibition things aren't going to be at the forefront of his plans, but I would imagine at some point they will be, but that will be definitely further down the line for Anthony Joshua. But having said that, this is boxing, the most unpredictable sport of them all, so don't be surprised if it does happen. But I would expect to see Tyson Fury in there with Mike Tyson, more so than Anthony Joshua. That is the most likely one out of these two. So guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Mike Tyson would be happy to entertain a possible exhibition with Anthony Joshua. Guys, drop your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.